What's up, YouTube? Hope you're all doing well. Sometimes you forget to do the intro of a video when you record the league live, so I got a little bit of a recap for you here today. We've been going on this back and forth about whether or not Quantum Riddler is the right call for the current Dimir or Esper shells, and at the end of the day, we probably haven't played enough to know for sure one way or the other, but the best way that we can verify some of our findings is to go back and play what we've played before to see if our results are similar across the two decks or if things vary differently. So that's what we got for you today. We're playing through a league of traditional FrogTide, the Dimir main deck, splashing white in the sideboard for some pest controls, and Teferi Time Raveler to help combat everything from Blink to opposing Esper Goryo decks, anything in between. The main deck, pretty centric around Murktide Regent. We've got a bunch of cheap instants and sorceries, a couple extra Cling to Dust, Strategic Betrayal, Preordain. We've got Tameo, Psychic Frog, Kaito is the bulk of our pressure outside of the dragon. We've got Force Negations, Counter Spells, couple Subtlety. And then in the sideboard, 2 Harbinger of the Seas, 2 Stern Scolding, 4 Consign to Memory, a Shieldred's Edict, the 4 white cards we already discussed, a second Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, and a Nihil Spellbomb. So ideally, this list would give us a pretty good bit of game against some of the more combo decks in the format. So think things like Amulet Titan or Neoform, Storm, Belcher, those sorts of decks, and be a little bit worse against some of the mid-range things, the Blinks, a little bit worse into the hyper aggro, the Boros energy. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you enjoy the league. As always, if you are enjoying the commentary, feel free to leave a like on the video or consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Greatly helps out. Links down below to the Twitter where we do our monthly Playpoint giveaways. Link to the Discord if you want to come talk all things Frog and see how things play out. And link to the Twitch in case you want to check out the next live stream we've got going on. So other than that, hope you all enjoy the video. Let's hop on into it. Kind of like going through that league we just finished, my takeaways were I felt like Goryo's was very limited in what I could apply the effect to because it's just Atraxa or the Gristlebrand. So there's like 9 cards that really aggressively need to be paired with each other. And if they're not paired with each other, their usefulness drops pretty significantly. I felt like when the graveyard was under duress, the options that I had after that were pretty weak. You have to take the Blood Moon so we can continue playing the game, unfortunately. If I had a Force Negation, I'd take the Ajani all day long, but Goryo's is a combo control deck. I wouldn't be surprised if Persist package over Goryo's package is better. I would agree. Like, I think giving the deck more flexibility would be a significant advantage. But I don't even think, based off of what I saw that league, I don't even think I would consider the deck to be a combo deck because the combo that occurred, like getting to do the thing of getting an Atraxa in the yard, Goryo's it, Ephemerate it, didn't even feel like it was necessarily winning on the spot. It felt like I needed more than that. Like I needed the Atraxa to hit specific things or I needed the Atraxa to get multiple hits in. And to me, that doesn't feel like it should really be classified as a combo deck. It's just like a mid-range deck. And if you're approaching it from the mid-range deck aspect, then I think it was just like kind of lacking in what all it was doing. It's like the best way to put it. That just doesn't make like any sense whatsoever, but full of the Mirror Breaker. Okay. Counters on this. Point of Gorgias is to win impossible spots where we cannot win, like the spot we're in now. Are we think this is an impossible spot? Possible spot where we cannot win? Obviously took a fortunate top deck. No argument there, but something on top. I put Windswept Heath into the graveyard. All right, let's see if you drew the Plage. Just gonna trade off Bowman token for this. Care for either of those. Subtlety is pretty nice though. We can attack in with Frog, see if opponent wants to offer up the trade. Or I say the trade, the chump block, so we can't draw. The Undercity. Q. 5. Murk. Lightning bolt. Actual factual lightning bolt. Actual factual lightning bolt in the year of our Lord 2025. Really argue against that one, can you? Actual factual lightning bolt. Bolt, no blocks. I'm pretty sure I was short on killing them, right? If I discard 3, they'd be going down to 4, 2 counters. Yeah, so they weren't dead. I'm just going to pass through with subtlety, force up. All right, you heard the man. No more Goryo's propaganda allowed on this stream. Impossible spot. We cannot win like the spot we're in now. Exact words. Impossible spot. Got hit with an ad while you're saying, in our good Lord, the ad began with pregnancy cycle. Man. Funny. The only important thing I said was no more Espergorio's propaganda allowed on the stream, because there was an impossible spot. Impossible, where we cannot win. Literal impossible to win from that spot. Take my propaganda to the Discord. Fair. You're welcome to propaganda here. Does not bother me. Because, like, at the end of the day, it's just a play style argument. Like, if I make decisions that are more in line with traditional FrogTide or Oculus or something like that, then it just makes more sense for me to focus more time and effort into those decks. Okay, so I'm preordaining first because I want to give myself the chance of drawing into a fetch land to get a second blue source in case they've got Blood Moon. They might not, I don't know, but really we did not hit the second land or second fetch. Psychic Frog, Strategic Betrayal, I think are like too good to pass up. Especially if opponent's not doing anything here. Do they have like a Felia or a Thraben Charm? Totally got a Thraben Charm. Show it to me. Show it to me. Okay, discarding a couple lands. Make you do something else. Still back the match win-loss record from the Daybreak account. I forgot that it was still on the Daybreak account. Let's see. Event record, properties. Oh, it should be on this one. It's just that the hand hider was in the way. So let's move the color source behind the event record. There we go. Problem solved. Discharge. How many times must I teach you this lesson, old man? Think I care about these cards when I have a giant frog? All right. Pay, I was going to say like pay 4 energy plus Sun Lance. That was going to blow me out of the water like nobody's business. Pay 4 energy Sun Lance. Right, I would love a untapped land or counter spell. Now we can start Cling to Dusting if we want to get some of these cards back, or Hardcast Subtlety. Because surely our opponent does not have 3rd copy of Galvanic Discharge. Totally have third copy of Galvanic Discharge. Come on, they're going after me. Morning from the other part of the world. Enjoyed listening to the Battle Chad podcast the other day. It was a pretty fun podcast to be a part of. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm just going to go after a non-flage card. My card draw on here. I can always subtlety the flage if they just go for that, or I can cling to dust if they go for something else. And this, kids, is why you don't be afraid to throw your entire hand into a frog. What's the worst that could happen? What is the worst that could happen? Literal nothing. You win 100% of the time when you just throw everything you hold dear into a frog. Guaranteed win. Static to the prison, never heard of her. Fake news. Making up cards. Static prison can't hurt you if you just don't believe. Plus, like, all the Boros players are cutting down on static prisons, so I'm less afraid of that card now than I have been previously. Back when the One Ring was still around, Static Prism was just like an auto 4 of in every deck. Every energy deck. Opponent last seen on Zoo. I feel like I might regret getting rid of that land. Scalding Tarn mean for me? I don't think Zoo plays Scalding Tarn. I could be wrong. I know, like, old Zoo didn't because they were base green. New Zoo might be more base red. Play basic Mountain and need to get it a little more often. You see the spicy Riddler list I posted on Discord? Been working on that lately. 241 so far. I think I glanced over it. I don't remember for sure. If you want to drop the link in here, we can take a look at it. Hold up, you saw that, right? That man just put an Emrakul in his graveyard. Is this like actual factual OG through the breach? Is this actual old school through the breach? All right, I am fetching before I play the Undercity Sewers so that if I see something I want on top, I don't accidentally shuffle it away if I need to counterspell. No way this is Blue Moon. All right, so this is just like new school through the breach. New the breach, as some might call it. They'd actually call it new the breach, but do have it through the breach, and their hand is kind of terrible. So we're going to take that, and I'm just going to try to stick. Yeah, I'm just going to try to stick a 5/5 Murk here. Gonna shock in just to add a little extra fear. They think something's going on, even if it's not. Back stock ups. Eldrazi. Still unsure about the double white cards in the sideboard. So what do we got? Kaito, Teferi, Bowmaster Riddler, Force Solitude, Path for No More Lies, White Orchid, Wrath the Skies. It's a big ask. Not a thing. Gonna get it. Ah, no, go back. Okay, so this probably means something like Devourer is in my future. Ah. Lame. Super lame. I guess I should have been more patient on the Murktide. Worth it to Betrayal? Well, Betrayal's a sorcery, so I couldn't. You stop drawing Null Drifters? Glenn Ace, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. And if it is while watching my opponent draw me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can't just start like hard casting Null Drifters. Being said, we at least have a clock out. Through the breach. Flex command. Hey. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Eldrazi. Breach plus like force of negation. Okay. Blue, red, Eldrazi through the breach. I feel like this is another deck that kind of died off the face of the earth. Mello coming in with the 7-month resub. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the subscribers. Enjoy continued access to our sweet emotes. A whole trimester. Can't argue. We can go. Do they? Barry. What was I gonna ask? Do they the Eldrazi through the breach, do they run mana rocks? Do they run talismans? I'm pretty sure they do, right? So I want to keep in Spell Snare. I feel like people have been running back some of the modern greatest hits lately. It happens from time to time. I think when people feel a little stuck, they tend to replay something that they had success with in the past. So like maybe they're tired of losing to Boros or don't feel good into Esper or whatever the case may be and just want to try something out. Usually the first thing you try out is something that's done well for you previously and see if it's got any legs. FrogTide and One-Landers. Name a more iconic duo. They also run that one Assassin's Creed artifact. Oh, Yggdrasil. Gemstone Cavern, exile a Flusterstorm. That's terrifying. The old turn 1 stock up. This is why I thought this deck in particular was going to be like the premier place for stock up. The first time I had that Through the Breach opponent stock up me on turn 1, I was just like, that is absolutely nutty. That is redonkulous. I hate everything about it. And they had the Kozilek's command follow up. Right, frog. I need you, buddy. Draw another Kozilek's command. You get Thoughtseize bugged into another Kozilek's command. This please just be like a Chalice on 2. Yep. Try 2 to the top. Bruh. You gotta miss, my guy. You've got to miss. So whatever this is, they scried to the top. Looks like another stock up. Old Drifter, okay. What the shit is this? Just Null Drifter into Through the Breach Emrakul. I can't take it. My heart. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. But they've got something like fine. That's a good draw. Could you not? I would love to get this Tamiyo flipped, but I don't think this is the turn for it. This is 10 to hard cast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, if they hit a land, they can hard cast this Ulamog. I kind of would like to have them return this Ulamog, hard cast it, and then I can Harbinger after and lock this Emrakul under the Ugin's Lab. But at the same time, it might just be too risky to not go for the Harbinger here. Yeah, I'm going to flip the Tamiyo. Now the decision's way easier. Now, hopefully, they'll just add Ulamog back into turn, draw land, hard cast Ulamog. It's pronounced Ulapog. I think it's pronounced Ula. Hope it doesn't get them there. The Null Drifter. Devourer. That's pretty annoying. So I could save the Tamiyo with the Consign, but I don't actually have a way to get the Devourer off the board. So it would be like tick up Tamiyo to 6, chump block with Harbinger, tick up Tamiyo to 8, but then just loses. So I think I have to let Tamiyo go, consign the actual Devourer, untap and Harbinger. This is definitely like worst case scenario for the flip Tamiyo line. Because if I had just played out the Harbinger, they wouldn't have had access to they wouldn't have had access to Devourer there. Alejandro coming in with the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Welcome to the subscribers. Enjoy access to all of our sweet custom emotes. Thank you so much for the continued support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be good to kill here. As long as my opponent doesn't top deck a checks notes Ugin. That is not an Ugin. All right, on to game 3. Will say being able to win that game despite the first few turns looking very, very unfortunate. Pretty cool. Have to keep this, right? Land's a little unfortunate lining up. Sage you. Like, I might just go Thoughtseize into Island Frog, depending on what's up. Definitely going Thoughtseize into Island Frog. Please don't have a mystical dispute here. Okay, so we're forcing off of one of these I know we can't force off a Harbinger because they have Besage You. I cannot counter this. Seems like the kind of deck that has just got 4 Besage You. I know I've seen them play main deck Trinisphere before. But just like 3 or 4 Besage You out of the board, Trinisphere. Seems up their alley. But I think if we can just hit an untapped land here, untapped blue source, which is, I guess, all of our remaining lands are blue sources, and get down Harbinger, have force up on their turn. Got a shot. Step 1. Discarding to speed up the clock a little bit. Odo just hit like a bad lag spike for me. Good. Love to see returning that and not like sitting on Dismember. And the goal is just to try to make this a 2-turn clock. One way or the other. Obviously, really good draw. Part of me feels like I should discard this other Harbinger, but Thought Seize. They have like an end of turn through the breach. I can counterspell, untap, have force up. They have like a remand they have to use. That could be an argument for holding on to Harbinger. If I have to force, like consign plus force, remand something, cast it again. Cluster Storm. Okay. So I could consign the Storm trigger. Doesn't really matter. Not going to pay for this. Whether I consign the Storm trigger or not, I still have to pay the last mana. And I don't want to tap down on mana here. I wonder if they play Otawara. Wonder if they play / how scared am I of? Like, they're not just auto scooping here. So I think I'm just dealing the damage and passing back. All right, so I know they've got an Ulamog in hand. That's the only card I know about, right? And Talisman, Ugin's Lab, Shivan Reef. The returned Ulamog is the only thing that I know about. So if I do go in on this frog, how bad is that? If I go like Harbinger, I should discard 2, right? Because it means that they're dead to Talisman if they choose to use it. Yeah, so I discard this other Harbinger, and I discard one of the consigns. Put them to 1. That shuts off red mana. I get to keep Counterspell plus Force or Consign plus Force. And if they, like, they're dead to either threat next turn. If they did have an Otawara, I would have enough in hand, I think, to fight over, like, any sort of follow-up on their turn. Is there a blue-red through the breach deck I can look at? Am I just, like, playing around stuff that's complete nonsense? Opponent has scooped. No, they do have Otawara. Okay. I like my play a lot more knowing that Otawara is in their 75. Looks like it's kind of stock in the is it lists. Okay. Set Moto real quick while it's going through its wannabe laggy phase. Password. Two O's start. Go start on the play for game 3. Good hand on the play. Cameo into Spell Snare, Fatal Push. Got Force Negation. What we're up against. Why hath thou forsaken me, Magic? Why do you do this to me in my trying times? All the Eldrazi opponents. I want to go ahead and do that as soon as they give me priority. Just in case they've got like some 0 drop in hand, I can just interact with it before they do anything. Like maybe they go to second man, they're like, oh, actually I do want to cast this Mishra's Bauble or whatever. I don't think they have any 0-drops, but it's kind of just like good sequencing, good habit to get into. I think I'm going to get down Bowmasters here. I need a clock going. Flesh Raker. Chalice on 1 is fine. Deck. Chalice on 1 is fine, he says. Land, no. Can't let that resolve while I need to flip these clue tokens. Okay, so if opponent plays something like a Devourer, maybe we can get a FrogTide next turn. Not a Devourer. Okay, if you've got a way to deal with the Murktide, game is over. Don't have a way to deal with the Murktide, we're still playing. Bridge. Sink into super off the top. Y'all remember when we banned Karn or banned Mycosynth Lattice for being too repetitive, too lockouty, since any deck running a bunch of mana acceleration could just Karn into Mycosynth Lattice? Is that not how we feel about Karn for Bridge? Is that not fairly similar? We just have no issue with the Karn Bridge part. That one just more whatever. So many outs to Karn Bridge. I mean, Game 2, sure. But you're talking about game 1 in the blind. Every deck's not going to be running pending. I don't know. It kind of feels to me like it's just doing. It's how to describe it. It's like this game 1 too over the top payoff for any sort of mana acceleration. Like it's too free for too many decks to include if they want to. Kind of my thought on it. All right, so they've got enough mana for an or for a Eldrazi play on turn 2. So we're gonna take Kozilek's Command. Go ahead and get down Murktide. I guess it's the part about being like a colorless payoff that bugs me. It's just any deck that is running mana acceleration can run Karn and can run Bridge to like the same effect. Like we've seen Amulet run Karn before. We've seen like Mono Green Devotion running Karn. We've seen Eldrazi Ramp and Tron running Karn. Just like anybody can do this thing if they want to. Why not discard Tameo to keep bounce spell? Because it doesn't matter what I discard. They're going to be able to Thought Knot it away or Thought Knot the remaining thing away. So if I put the Sink into Stupor into the graveyard first, I guarantee have a bigger Murktide. If they do something else instead of Thought Knot Seer, then I might not have as big of a Murktide. Just maximizing Murktide. Member, get out of here. With all these opponents just drawing hot fire. All right. So you need to hit a land to Karn. You don't hit a land here, we've got a good chance. Mindstone is not a land. Can't Karn this turn, but I am... That kills, right? Because I can counter the Karn and I can counter the Fleshraker trigger. One, two, three, four, five, six. consigned doing the Lord's work here. Well, I know they don't have 2/2 drops because I know their hand is Karn, Devourer, Unknown. Now I know their unknown is the Ugin's Labyrinth. So we have perfect information. We're going to go for the Devourer. 17,000 triggers on the stack. Replicate 3 times. That one, that one, that one again for good measure. No to you, no to you, no to you. Tap, kill you with a Murktide. Hit them with the Murktide instead of showing them strategic betrayal for any reason. On to game 3. I hate Fleshraker so much. I've had a number of games against Eldrazi now, or like Eldrazi Tron specifically, where Fleshraker has done a number post-board. But I don't want to like leave in fatal pushes just for Fleshraker or like keep in stern scoldings for it. So it just puts like a lot of extra pressure on Thoughtseize, Consign, Counterspell. Has Eldrazi been putting up challenge results? Or has it just been like all over the place in the leagues? Like, I know it puts up 5-0s in the leagues like crazy because you can just play through leagues with it really quickly. Had 2 spots in the top 8 of this, the RCQ, 3 in top 32, 2 in top 32 of that challenge. Did win a challenge days ago. Okay, so it's been doing pretty all right. Can't hate on it. I can hate on it. I'm just gonna not at the moment. Position map. Karn the Great Creator, Eye of Ugin. Opponent does not have natural Tron. They're clearly not a god gamer. Go ahead and mine for the power plant or for the tower. Eye of Ugin. Ugin Eye of the Storm's Mind Stone. I think I want to take this Mind Stone. Because if their turn 3 is just hard cast Ugin, I've got that covered. I could also go for the Thoughtseize here and just take both of them. The downside here is if I don't just like naturally hit the third land, not doing a whole lot. Okay, we got a brick. Didn't have the mine before. Good. Are we getting out of this? Get out of here, Eldrazi. Tron, whatever your name is. Can't compete with our Harbinger of the Seas. So Atler, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. Moon effects always good. And yet there are still people that are like, oh, Harbinger of the Seas isn't good. I'm cutting down on those. Wins an Eldritch Horror or a fish. Find out tonight. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern. Back. I guess technically this is better. Drop on the draw. Please don't show me another Eldrazi deck. Please don't show me another Eldrazi deck. Mono red Belcher. Eesh. Oh wait, they played main deck Blood Moon, don't they? I should have gotten an island. Strike it rich. Let's get Bowmaster down. Counterspell, force negation. I think I'm flipping Tamiyo this turn. I think the clues aren't Or like to make an extra clue isn't really going to matter. But I'm going to cling to dust the Strike It Rich first. See if we happen to rip into a counter spell. That would change my mind. Hope you got nothing. Probably not a good sign for the have nothing plan. That's a much better sign for the have nothing plan. Stuff is happening. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sitting up in the chair. Opponent missed their land drop last turn. So I'm going to assume hand is something like Iron Crag Feet, no payoff, maybe like Ritual something, Iron Crag Feet. This gets up to 3. That is not enough to dragon. Okay. If the follow-up to this was Belcher, there's no reason to play the Ruby Medallion first, right? So the follow-up to this has to be Dragon. So I'm counterspelling this. If it was Belcher, they could just go Ritual, Iron Crag, Belcher for the win, not have to play out the Ruby Medallion. Play out our Murktide here, because if opponent goes, like, doesn't do anything impactful this turn, we ult Tamiyo next turn, Frog, discard all the extra stuff into the yard, exile everything to the Murktide, swing in with a big hasty Dargan. Best case scenario would be they just go like land, hard cast a single dragon. Looks like they're going to make us do it the hard way. There's a frog. Discard. Going. Yeah. Enough. Okay. Game 2, Mono Red Belcher. Mono Red Storm. Mono Red Stuff. How do I normally lose to this deck? Blood Moon? Just like turn 2, cheese a Blood Moon? No, I don't want Fatal Push. I don't want Strategic Betrayal. Subtleties, kind of mid. I'd probably just rather have other Kaito than a Subtlety. I don't think I'm going to bring in Teferi between them being on Blood Moon and me bringing in Harbinger. That sounds like not the game I want to play. Okay. Mulligans to 6. 5. Off to the races. Break it rich. Okay, let's think about this. If I just go Fetch, Shock, Thoughtseize, I can probably stop a Blood Moon. Yeah, I think I just have to do that. Just want to like pop off. Taking Sundering Eruption. Take their second land. So now even if they hit a land this turn, they can't go off. If they don't hit the land, then I'm just in like phenomenal position. But I do have to remember that from here on out, my opponent now has the critical mass of cards needed to go off at any point. So I can't just like tap out on 4 for a Kaito. Third consign. Unless I top deck a force. Not going all in on Kaito. This is fine. Fine. Hard cast Char Belcher. Okay, so 3 cards in hand. I know one is an Iron Crag Feat. I could just go for Kaito this turn. And if they Iron Crag into the dragon, I can consign the Iron Crag trigger. But if they have Blood Moon, yeah, if they have Blood Moon, I just like auto lose. I think I want to wait till next turn when I've got Kaito plus Counterspell up. Shock-in Volcanic Fissure. Desperate Ritual, sure. This has got to be Desperate, Iron Crag Feet, Dragon. Counterspell this. With the dragon. Because again, if the last card was Belcher, it makes no sense to cast the ritual first and just like go down a resource unnecessarily. We'll have Sink into Stupor in case they do have a Belcher and it resolves, or Consign to Memory to try to hit it off the stack. Kaito to find some more cards. Okay, I think that should be game. Bowmaster of the Graveyard, Harbinger on top. Play Harbinger. They go, hold up, Sink into Stupor, in case they hard cast a Char Belcher, or if they hit. Tap, hit you with a couple dudes here. Either of those, Tameo, Preordain, try to find, yeah, Force Negation works, flip Tameo. Have Force Negation or Cling to Dust for the ability to buy back, Consign, or Counterspell next turn. And I think we should be chilling. I do very much appreciate opponent making me use the counter there instead of using the counter there instead of like just assuming that I wasn't going to attack or something, or like I'd skip through my attack. Like, or making me use the counter to give themselves the out of me skipping through my attack. There we go. Okay, so let's get a trophy prediction live. Prediction is up. If you think we're going to trophy this little non-Riddler, non-Oculus league. Back, I will have the deck list up. Right one. Not the right one. One. Yeah. Here we go. Deck list for everybody getting their votes in. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. Then when I get back, we will hop into our trophy match and see what happens. The combo decks, and then Riddler better into a lot of like the fair mid-range decks. So, and then Riddler and Murktide kind of overlap into the control space, depending on what the interaction's looking like. I'm telling you, if there is not a trophy algorithm at work, I'm calling blasphemy. We get through this entire league playing like these interesting off decks. And the one league I register Murktide, we run into actual blank, maybe, could be something else, but could be actual blank. That's 1-0 in the league right now. Every other league, round 2, we were 2-0, got paired against 3-0. Round 3, we were 3-0, got paired against 3-0. And then round 4, we're 1-0 or 4-0 and get paired into a 1-0. But they're on Belcher, so I'm not going to be as critical anymore. They do have the Lotus Bloom on 1. Electing to hold up Fatal Push instead of going for the frog. Show me the counter. Nope. I was hoping that they would have a 2-drop creature and I would get to Fatal Push and untap with frog so they wouldn't be able to hold up Flare of Denial. T-Mac's a very good player. I believe it. What does the song sound like? This is Halloween. It was. Because it hadn't updated the image yet. This is Halloween? Why does it sound like it? Because it is. Land. Breed. Breed did not get there. Could be problematic. Like, this is copywriter slang for how similar this is. Yes, they just got hard cast Belcher here. Unfortunate. I could have not played. Oh yeah, that's rough. I could have not played the preordain and just gone for holding up counterspell force, and we probably would have smoked this, but I got greedy. Torch. Them having like no counter spells at all is kind of crazy. Normally trim a Murk against Belcher. Fling. Yeah, if I just held up counterspell there and force the Lotus, attack in, discard like a couple non-counterspell cards. Would have had to discard a lot of non-counterspell cards, I guess, but interaction, no pressure. Oh. Sometimes you YOLO, sometimes you get YOLO'd. Opponent has chosen to keep a 0 land hand with a Lotus Bloom. How much are we getting punished? I feel like I have to take the Seagate Restoration and make you rip the land drops from here out. I know they're going to. Maybe we can hit a frog here. Good keep on the draw. I mean, I think if I had a 7, like an average 7 card hand, I'd feel pretty favored against that keep on the draw. 5 card hand, things definitely get a lot more dicey. Well, they've got interaction, but they've got like interaction they can't cast at the moment. So interaction you can't cast is not very good interaction. Like, are we still on this this good keep opinion, or at least we get to go to game 3, but I don't want to get Kaito out of here. We're doing anything with that? Back in. Don't like this. A lot better. Throwing away. What? I kind of want to keep second threat in case the first gets countered. Is it crazy to throw away Frog here? Yeah, because if they just go 2-drop on 2 and I get to counter it untap Frog, that's pretty good for me. We're destined to have a spell snare. Like we spoke the possibility into existence. It's the hit. Is there any sort of takeaway from the threats? Like, if they're running Thunder Trap Trainer in addition to Philology Archaeologist, does that mean like they're on Flare of Denial, or they're not on Flare of Denial? Is there anything to take away from that? For sure means Flare. It's coming off suspend. Go. I want either of these. I think I want the Scolding. Hmm. Yeah, I think I don't want the fatal push. I do think I want the scolding. Go after this. Got Flusterstorm. So the hope is that they go for a Tameshi here, and I've got Stern Scolding. And they don't have like another counter to interact with the Scolding. Got just hard cast Belcher. So now I need to find Teferi. Fairy sink. A little late. All right. Well, hey, the cookie crumbles. Kind of a agreed play game 1. Game 2, greed from them. Game 3, beat some stuff, can't beat others. See the list for future reference. Oh, come back here. Back here. Oh, let me... Dude. Why does it just auto go away after league finishes? If you lose. If you win, it like stays up there. Okay. Takeaways. First, let's pay out. Nah, Mike's a scrub. Turn to game, bottom left. Ah. Let me see their... There we go. I want to see if there's stuff I was playing around that I should not have or vice versa. Wait, did they boarded down to 2 Lotus Blooms and had one of them in their opener? Savage. I guess they could have had some in hand. I don't know. Cock up, unable to scream, spell snare. Did have Flare of Denial. Yeah, just think unfortunate. I'm a little surprised that they went after Flusterstorming my consigned to memory. If they just had like hardcast land Belcher. All right. Turn. League. trimming Lotus is playing consign decks. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that like they shaved down to 2 and had one of them in their opening hand. Because if they didn't have that Lotus, we could have consigned the Belcher hard cast and would have been significantly better off. But because they had the Lotus, I couldn't fight over the mana advantage of the Lotus and blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. And having like the Flusterstorm as well meant that if they had gone, they had cast the Lotus and I didn't consign it and they went for Belcher, they'd be able to Flusterstorm my consign on the Belcher even if I replicated. So it happens. But I do think that traditional felt pretty good. Like obviously we ran into a couple off meta decks. Definitely not what I would necessarily expect to see at the moment between like mono red Belcher and blue red Through the Breach. Ojcon, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. So got to take that with a grain of salt. I think if we were running into more Blink, I still prefer Riddler in those matchups. But I'm not going to complain about a 4-1. We'll crack some chests to celebrate. Aren't those down to like 5 or 6 tickets or something? Still a good hit, but it's no Quantum Riddler. Unlike this, it's going to be really hot if there's a Quantum Riddler in that pack. Lava-Born Muse. Okay. Full set of Edge of Eternities. Right here. Called Shot. Voice of Victory. Still worth anything? Five ticks. Pretty good chest. Pretty good chest. Reasonable play points. Can't imagine split up as anything. 6. Take it. All right, let's go find somebody to raid as always.